Wife said she was on a work trip, until I tracked the hotel bill and served her divorce papers in the lobby. My wife Brianna, 32F, and I, 34M, have been married for 7 years. She's a pharmaceutical sales rep, I'm a commercial real estate broker. We've built a solid life together, or so I thought. 3 months ago, things started feeling off. New Victoria's Secret charges on our credit card when she's never been into fancy lingerie. Suddenly she's hitting the gym at 5 a.m. when she used to hate mornings. Her phone's always face down now, and she takes it to the bathroom every single time. Last week, she tells me about a regional sales conference in Phoenix next month. Here's the thing, she's never mentioned Phoenix as part of her territory. She covers the Pacific Northwest, not the Southwest. When I asked about it, she got defensive, said the company was expanding her region. Then yesterday, our joint credit card gets hit for $2,847 at the Phoenician Resort. Not a conference hotel, a luxury resort. For a 4-night stay in a suite. Her company always books standard rooms at Marriott's or Hilton's for actual conferences. I checked her company's website. No conferences listed for those dates. I'm sitting here with my laptop open to the hotel's website. One click and I can book a room for the same dates. Part of me wants to show up and see for myself. Another part thinks I'm losing my mind over nothing. What would you do? Edit, her phone just buzzed while she's in the shower. Text preview showed can't wait for Phoenix from someone named D. Reeves, equipment vendor. I've never heard her mention this vendor before. Edit 2, I'm booking the room. F this. Update 1, posted 5 days later. You were alright. Every single one of you who told me to trust my gut. I hired a pie the day after my last post. Best $3,000 I've ever spent. Turns out D. Reeves is Dustin Reeves, 38, owns a sports equipment distribution company. He's been Brianna's client for 6 months. The pie worked fast. Within 72 hours, I had photos of them at Morton's Steakhouse, her hand on his thigh. Security footage from a Hilton, timestamped during her last client dinner, showing them entering his room at 9:47 p.m., her leaving at 2:23 a.m. Records showing she's been extending her legitimate work trips by 1 to 2 days to spend time with him. Evidence she opened a separate savings account 3 months ago and has been moving $500 bi-weekly from our joint investment account. But here's where it gets worse. The pie did some digging on Dustin. Married for 12 years. 3 kids. His wife thinks he's been closing deals with medical suppliers. I met with a divorce attorney yesterday. Gerald Hoffman, absolute shark. He laid out my options. Confront her now, file immediately. Wait until Phoenix, gather more evidence. Protect my assets first, then move. I'm going with door number 3. Here's what I've already done. Documented everything, backed up to 3 separate clouds. Opened my own accounts at a different bank. Moved my commission checks to go direct deposit there starting next week. Had my attorney draft separation papers. Scheduled a STD test for tomorrow. But Phoenix is where this ends. The Phoenician Resort. 4 days away. She thinks she's being so clever, telling me she'll be in budget meetings all day and exhausted from presentations. I've booked a room. Not just any room, the suite directly across from theirs. Cost me $4,000 but money isn't the point anymore. I also did something else. I found Dustin's wife on social media. Haven't contacted her yet, but I have her information ready. She deserves to know, but timing is everything. Brianna's been extra affectionate this week. Made my favorite dinner twice. Initiated sex for the first time in months. The manipulation is so transparent now that I know what to look for. She thinks she's playing me. She has no idea I'm 10 steps ahead. My brother thinks I should just confront her now, avoid the drama. But you know what? She made this dramatic when she decided to F another man while wearing the ring I put on her finger. She wants to play games? I'll show her how the game ends. Phoenix is in 4 days. I'll update you all after. Edit, for those asking why I don't just divorce quietly, she's been telling our friend group I've been distant and uninvolved. Setting up her narrative. Well, she wants to create a story? I'll give her an ending she'll never forget. Update 2, posted 6 days later. I'm writing this from Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. My flight home boards in 2 hours. Brianna's still at the Phoenician, probably crying into her mimosa. Let me tell you what happened. I flew in yesterday morning, 3 hours before her flight. Checked into my suite at the Phoenician. From my balcony, I could see directly into theirs. The anticipation was killing me, but I stayed disciplined. She texted me when she landed for the conference. Just got to the hotel, honey. Boring conference room for the next 4 days. Miss you already. I watched from my balcony as she and Dustin arrived at their suite 20 minutes later. The way she kissed him in broad daylight, thinking she was safe. My stomach turned, but my resolve only hardened. I didn't act immediately. Patience. I ordered room service, worked on my laptop, waited. That evening, I watched them leave for dinner, her wearing the black dress I bought her for our anniversary last year. That's when I made my first move. I called Dustin's wife, Monica. The conversation was brutal. She broke down completely. But here's the thing about Monica, she's not just a housewife. She's a corporate attorney. And she was effing furious. We coordinated our next moves like a military operation. This morning, everything came together. I knew from their dinner reservation, I may have called the concierge pretending to be Dustin to confirm, they had a couple's massage booked at the spa at 10 a.m., then lunch at the resort's restaurant at noon. At 11:45, I positioned myself at the bar with a perfect view of their table. Monica was flying in, but flight delays meant she wouldn't make it in time. But I had something better. See, yesterday I did some research. Brianna's regional manager, Warren, was at an actual pharmaceutical conference at the convention center, 15 minutes away. I'd found this out through LinkedIn. He'd posted about speaking at a panel on ethics in pharmaceutical sales. The irony. I sent Warren an email from an anonymous account with just enough information to pique his interest, suggesting he might want to have lunch at the Phoenician to discuss concerning behavior from one of his sales reps. At 12:15, Brianna and Dustin were at their table, her feeding him strawberries from her champagne glass like they were in an effing movie. At 12:17, Warren walked in. I watched him scan the room, his face changing when he spotted Brianna. At 12:19, I stood up and walked over. "Brianna," I said calmly. She dropped her champagne glass. It shattered on the marble floor. The entire restaurant turned to look. "Grant?" Her face went white. "What are you? This isn't Dustin Reeves," I said, extending my hand to him like we were at a effing business meeting. "I'm Grant Morrison. The husband." He stood up so fast his chair fell backward. Started stammering some BS about misunderstandings. "Oh, and Brianna?" I pulled out the manila envelope from my jacket. "These are for you." She took them with shaking hands. Divorce papers. Postnuptial agreement nullification based on infidelity. We'd signed one 3 years ago when I started making serious money. Printed screenshots of her texts. The pie's photos. Everything. "Warren," she gasped, finally noticing her boss standing 10 feet away, his face purple with rage. "Ms. Morrison," Warren said, his voice deadly quiet. "My office. Monday morning. 9 a.m. But I wasn't done. "Dustin, Monica wanted me to give you this." I handed him another envelope. "She said she'll be keeping the house, the business, and the kids. Her attorney will be in touch." The man literally ran. Sprinted out of the restaurant like the building was on fire, leaving Brianna standing there in her black dress, surrounded by shattered glass and the ruins of her carefully constructed lies. "How?" she whispered. "You opened a secret account from our home Wi-Fi," I said. "You extended your Portland trip last month but posted an Instagram story from Pike Place Market in Seattle. You said you had a stomach bug 3 weeks ago but charged a Brazilian wax to our credit card the same day. You think I'm stupid, Brianna? I close million-dollar real estate deals. I read people for a living." She tried to speak, but I held up my hand. "Your things will be in storage by Monday. The locks have already been changed. Your car, the one I pay for, has been repossessed as of this morning. Your phone, also in my name, will be shut off at 5 p.m. today. The credit cards are already frozen. Grant, please, we can talk about this." "No. We can't. You know what the saddest part is? If you just asked for a divorce, I'd have given you one. We could have split everything fairly. But you wanted to have your cake and eat it too. Now you get nothing." I turned to leave, then stopped. "Oh, and that separate savings account you opened? The $6,000 you stole from our investments? My attorney already filed for fraud recovery. Turns out moving money from joint accounts without disclosure violates our post-nups financial transparency clause." The last thing I heard as I walked out was Warren saying, "Falsifying client meetings for personal use is grounds for immediate termination." "I'm flying home now." She sent 47 texts to my work phone, She doesn't know I have it, ranging from I'm sorry to you're a psychopath to please don't do this. Monica texted me 10 minutes ago. Dustin's locked himself in the hotel bathroom, crying like a baby. Thank you for having the balls to tell me. I feel empty, but also free. 7 years of marriage ended in a Phoenix restaurant, but you know what? She ended it the first time she chose to F him. I just delivered the paperwork. Edit, to everyone saying I went too far, she was using her legitimate client meetings to build her affair. She was stealing our money to fund it. She was setting me up as the bad guy to our friends. This wasn't just cheating. It was a calculated betrayal of everything. I simply calculated better. Update 3, posted 10 days later. The fallout has been nuclear. Brianna was fired the Monday after Phoenix. Warren didn't just terminate her for ethics violations, he reported her to the Pharmaceutical Sales Certification Board. She's been blacklisted from the industry. Turns out, using client relationships for personal affairs and falsifying business expenses aren't just fireable offenses, they're career-ending ones. She showed up at my office on Tuesday. Security had to escort her out. She was screaming about how I ruined her life and took everything from her. My business partner recorded the whole thing on his phone, just in case we need a restraining order. But here's where it gets interesting. Remember how I mentioned Dustin's sports equipment distribution company? Well, Monica just took him for everything in the emergency divorce filing. But before that happened, she did some digging of her own. Turns out, Dustin and Brianna weren't just having an affair. They were planning a future together. Monica found emails where they discussed Brianna leaving me after she'd saved enough money, my money, apparently, and Dustin divorcing Monica once his company closed a major deal that would set him up financially. But here's the kicker, Brianna was feeding him insider information about pharmaceutical distribution networks to help him land contracts with medical facilities for sports rehabilitation equipment. That's corporate espionage. Monica, being a corporate attorney, recognized this immediately and reported it to the relevant authorities. The FBI's white-collar crime division is now investigating. Brianna tried to stay with her sister in Tacoma, but that lasted exactly 1 day. Her sister's husband, Paul, called me yesterday. Apparently, Brianna made a pass at him. Her own brother-in-law. When he rejected her, she tried to play it off as a misunderstanding, but Paul's not an idiot. They kicked her out. Our mutual friends have been choosing sides, but there aren't really sides to choose. I provided receipts to anyone who asked. The evidence speaks for itself. Her own best friend, Courtney, sent me a message, "I'm sorry, Grant. We all suspected something was off, but she kept saying you were controlling and paranoid. We should have seen through it." The house? Mine. The post-nup we signed was ironclad. Infidelity means she walks away with only her personal belongings and whatever she brought into the marriage. She brought $3,000 and some IKEA furniture. But yesterday was the cherry on top. Dustin's company is folding. Without Monica's financial support, she was apparently bankrolling a lot of it through her law firm connections, and with the FBI investigation scaring away potential investors, he's done. He called me from a blocked number, begging me to tell Monica to back off. "You destroyed everything," he said. "You vindictive piece of SHT." "No," I told him. "I just pulled back the curtain. You destroyed everything when you decided to F another man's wife while lying to your own." He hung up. Brianna's last text to me, sent from a burner phone, "I hope you're happy. You got your revenge. I have nothing." I responded once, "You have exactly what you gave our marriage. Nothing." Then I blocked that number too. I'm in therapy now, dealing with the anger and the grief. Not grief for her, grief for the life I thought I had. My therapist says I handled the situation with remarkable strategic thinking but warns about letting this experience close me off from future relationships. Maybe she's right. But right now, I'm focused on my business, my health, and rebuilding my life without a parasite attached to it. To everyone who's been following this story, thank you. Your support kept me sane when I thought I was losing my mind. You told me to trust my gut, to protect myself, to not let her gaslight me into submission. You were right about all of it. Edit, since people keep asking, yes, I got tested. All clean, thankfully. And yes, I'm keeping records of everything in case she tries anything else. My attorney says I have enough for harassment charges if needed. Edit 2, the Pi just sent me something interesting. Brianna created a dating profile already. Listed herself as entrepreneur between ventures and recently out of a toxic relationship. The audacity is almost impressive. Final update, posted 3 weeks later. This will be my last update. I need to close this chapter and move forward. It's been 6 weeks since Phoenix. Here's where everyone stands. Dustin filed for bankruptcy. The FBI investigation found enough evidence of corporate information theft to charge him with 3 counts of fraud. He's looking at serious jail time. Monica sent me a photo of him at his arraignment. He looked like he'd aged 10 years. His company is gone, his family is gone, and his freedom is about to be gone too. Monica, she's doing well. We've grabbed coffee a few times, not romantically, just 2 people who went through the same betrayal. She's in therapy too, focusing on her kids and her career. She thanked me again last week for not letting her waste another year in a lie. Brianna, this is where it gets pathetic. After burning through her sister, her parents, who took her in for exactly 3 days before she stole money from her mother's purse, and every friend who initially offered her a couch, she's now living in a studio apartment in Spokane, working as a waitress at a chain restaurant. How do I know this? She sent me a letter. An actual, physical letter. 3 pages of delusions, manipulations, and rewritten history. Some highlights. She claims I emotionally abandoned her first, forcing her to seek comfort elsewhere. She says I orchestrated everything to humiliate her, correct? She insists Dustin manipulated her, despite the emails Monica found where she was clearly the one pushing for the affair. She actually had the nerve to ask if I'd consider couples counseling. The letter went straight to my attorney, who added it to the harassment file. But the real kicker came last week. She applied for a job at a medical device company in Portland. They called me for a reference. I'm still listed as her emergency contact, apparently. I told them the truth. She was terminated for ethics violations and is under investigation for corporate espionage. They thanked me for my honesty. She'll never work in pharmaceutical sales again. Her LinkedIn still says senior pharmaceutical sales representative, but everyone in the industry knows. Warren made sure of that. As for me, I'm doing better than I expected. The anger has mostly faded, replaced by something like indifference. I see clearly now what I couldn't see before, the small manipulations, the gaslighting, the way she'd turn every concern I had back on me as being controlling or insecure. My business is thriving. Turns out, the story of what happened has actually helped my reputation in a weird way. Other brokers know I'm thorough, strategic, and don't let anything slip by me. I've closed 3 major deals since Phoenix, including a $40 million industrial complex that's been my white whale for 2 years. I've been hitting the gym consistently, lost 15 pounds, and started taking classes in something I've always wanted to learn, commercial photography. Turns out I'm pretty good at it. There's something therapeutic about capturing exactly what's in front of you, no lies, no filters, just truth. I went on my first date last weekend. Nothing serious, just drinks with a woman I met at a commercial real estate conference. She's brilliant, funny, and, most importantly, honest. When she had to take a call from her ex about their dog custody arrangement, she explained everything openly. No secrets, no games. It's refreshing. But here's the moment that really showed me I've healed. Yesterday, I was having lunch at a place when I saw them through the window, Brianna and some new guy. She looked rough. The designer clothes replaced with discount store basics, the confident walk replaced with something defensive and desperate. She was laughing too loud, touching his arm too much, trying so hard to be whoever she thought he wanted. Our eyes met for a second. She froze. I could see her debating whether to come in, to make a scene, to try one more manipulation. I just turned back to my lunch and kept eating. She wasn't worth interrupting my meal. That's when I knew I was free. Not when I signed the divorce papers, not when I changed the locks, not even when I watched her world collapse in Phoenix. But in that moment when I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no satisfaction. Just nothing. She's someone I used to know. A mistake I learned from. A reminder that when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. To everyone who's been following this journey, thank you. Your support, advice, and validation meant everything when I was drowning in gaslighting and doubt. To anyone reading this who's seeing red flags in their own relationship, trust your gut. It's trying to protect you. Don't let anyone make you feel crazy for noticing the truth. And to Brianna, if you're reading this, and I know you are, because you're still obsessed with checking my social media from fake accounts, I want to thank you. You taught me the most valuable lesson of my life. I deserve better. And now I have it. I'm done looking backward. Time to focus on what's ahead. Grant, signing off. Edit. Since dozens of you have asked, yes, I'm writing a book about this experience. Not a revenge manual, but a guide to recognizing manipulation, protecting yourself, And rebuilding after betrayal. My therapist thinks it'll be therapeutic. My attorney thinks it'll be profitable. We'll see. Final edit, just got a text from Monica. Dustin took a plea deal, 18 months in federal prison, 3 years probation, and he has to pay restitution. She's taking the kids to Hawaii with the settlement money. Thanks for giving me my life back, she said. No, Monica. Thank you for being strong enough to take it back. Epilogue, comment from Op 6 months later on a similar post. /throwaway_Phoenix34 responding to just found out my wife is cheating. What do I do? Brother, I've been where you are. That gut feeling? It's not paranoia. It's pattern recognition. Your subconscious has picked up on 1,000 tiny changes that your conscious mind is trying to explain away. Here's what I learned from my experience. Document everything before you confront. Screenshots, bank records, photos. Store them somewhere she can't access. Lawyer first, confrontation second. Always. The moment you confront is the moment they start hiding assets and crafting their narrative. Control the timeline. Don't let your emotions rush you into a confrontation you're not prepared for. When you're ready, you act on your schedule, not theirs. Their reaction will tell you everything. My ex tried denial, then anger, then bargaining, then playing victim. Not once did she show genuine remorse. Not once did she take responsibility. That told me everything I needed to know about who she really was. You can't save a relationship by yourself. If they're already checked out enough to cheat, they made their choice. You're just handling the paperwork. The comment that saved me when I was drowning? Someone told me, she didn't cheat because of anything you did or didn't do. She cheated because that's who she is. A cheater. You're going to want to blame yourself. To think if you'd just been more attentive, more romantic, more whatever, this wouldn't have happened. That's BS. Good people in bad relationships ask for counseling, have hard conversations, or ask for divorce. They don't F other people behind their partner's back. My ex is now serving tables in Spokane while her affair partner sits in federal prison. I just closed the biggest deal of my career and I'm dating someone who actually respects me. The universe has a way of balancing things out, but only if you have the courage to tip the scales. Stay strong. Trust your gut. And remember, the best revenge isn't just living well. It's living well while they live with the consequences of their choices. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.